Alright, so welcome to the first stream of the Myriad Skies. Let me just turn that down a bit because it's a little bit distracting to me, at least. Alright, so I should probably begin by introducing what the Myriad Skies is. The Myriad Skies is a worldbuilding project that I've started a whole bunch of years ago, and it's difficult to describe in simple terms. So I'm just going to start describing things of the world without necessarily getting to a point right away, because I haven't figured out a way of actually describing it concisely. Okay, so basically the world of the Myriad Skies is, well, that's not very flat. It's flat. I am not a professional artist, by the way. But yeah, so the world is flat. Basically, that is a terrible introduction. I'm going to get good at speaking at some point, but that point is not today. Right. So, yes, the world of Myriad Skies is basically almost a flat platform, which is being kept up by, let me pick a better call for that, by streams of lava filling a lava pool at the bottom. Like so. Several streams. So basically upfalling lava falls. Well, I'm really bad at this. Oh well. You know what, rather than explaining things, I'm just going to start worldbuilding. I am just going to start. Okay, so I want to create plans for a certain region, which currently let me show you a map of the world. Okay. Let's just let this load up. Okay, so this is the total scale of the world. I haven't quite figured it all out yet. Yeah, let me activate a few more things. So this is roughly the extent of the world. If you basically travel out of one of these sides, you basically pop out of the other side without noticing that you've actually traveled across it. So that's why it's kind of hexagonal in shape. That's just how the shape it has. Currently, I am focusing on this region over here. Yes. So let's zoom in on that as I figure out the controls. Okay, I'll just zoom in and I'll get rid of the notes. So this is the continent that I'm currently working on. So this is a height map, if you will. These are volcanoes that basically, well, this one over here would be about comparable to Olympus Mons, I think, in height and width, because there's no tectonic plate. Okay, so I basically want to start focusing on this region here. No, that's the wrong one. There we go. So basically this region that is within this hex, this hexagon. So currently in my notes it's called region A7, very original, because I don't have people in it yet, well I don't have a language for the people. The people that live there don't have a language yet that I can use to name it. So for now, A7 will do. Should be fine. Alright then. So yes. I'm gonna have to learn these hotkeys, aren't I? M. Alright, that moves things, it doesn't move me. Oh well. Cool. So this region, A7, I should probably explain what these regions actually are. So this region, these hexagons, they mark basically all of the different sky realms. So basically it's like a giant area above the land, in the sky, where there's a portal to different worlds, which broadly defines the climate of the area that is underneath it. So the sky realm of A7, it's basically it doesn't really produce any light of its own. Like it doesn't have a sun or any celestial bodies, so to speak. Do I have anything bigger? No, not really. I'll just have to go ahead. So yeah, the sky is basically dark by itself. However, it very regularly it produces rain of all sorts of colors. And this rain is basically akin to, well, it's one specific color, kind of like how a laser is like one particular frequency of color or something like that. It probably looks a little bit different because I'm not sure if the rain will have the same kind of result if it is indeed exactly like lasers with specific wavelengths. But basically you've got this rainbow colored rain that often drops down, and this actually emits light. Like the raindrops, they contain the light that gets emitted. And yeah, this is basically, it contains like all the colors of the rainbow, except most types of green. So there might be some like kind of cyanish or turquoise-ish stuff. There might be some greenish yellowish stuff, but no actual green. So like green is illegal. So yeah, that's how light gets produced in this realm, under this realm, and this rain basically stays in the water for a certain period of time. So you have, in this realm, you've got under this realm, you've got like these multicolored rivers of light and water, of course. And So because you've got this because you've basically got a place where the light is produced by the Pacific falling, specific material, rather than a stellar object millions of miles or however far away the sun is produces. It affects the kinds of things that photosynthesize. Like things will photosynthesize differently. For example, for this round I tend to draw the plants in black because a lot of things will be the color green, specifically the not allowed green, the illegal green, which basically means that because of how light works in this world specifically, I don't know if this would also work this way in our world, but I get to, because I am the world builder, I get to say that this specific type of green does not get reflected. And a few greens around it. So basically, anything that is green turns out black. So you kind of get silhouettes in a sense. I'm really just rambling. But let's... I'll show you a basic type of water catching tree. So that's one of the types of trees that you'll find. So you've got kind of a chalice shaped, let's do that. You've got kind of like a chalice shaped tree. Those are supposed to be roots, don't think about it too clearly. And so the very like multicolored water gets kind of like captured in there. Grab something a bit less sturdy so I can actually mix this up nicely. So basically like like this soup of various colors that falls into these kind of beakers. So you've kind of got like kind of beaker where it kind of gets caught in, and so that it has its own little light supply to photosynthesize with for as long as it wants. Of course, you know, making your own beaker and having it be taller than all the other plants, you know, that could be, you know, that costs a lot of energy and time. So, of course, not all plants would want to invest that much time. So, if you've got this nice little pool of light, why not just, you know, sit in it? So you'll find that there's kind of like semi-parasitic plants. I'll demark it in a different color. Maybe just grey. Cool. So you've got. So maybe this plant will have a like a kind of energy storage spot, you know, kind of like a tuber or something, and then it just kind of has these roots that just come out all throughout the plant, branch off and such. So these roots can then actually photosynthesize and kind of steal away the light from this tree. Of course, these kinds of plants would also be able to just grow in little puddles on the ground and such. But a water catching tree would be a much more reliable spot for such a thing. Of course, these plants might not want to go too aggressive. Actually, there's probably like at least two different strategies that these kinds of plants could go for. Either go for the hyper-aggressive approach, where basically like you've got a tree, it's you know, like I don't know, maybe it germinated with flying seeds, then it'll just fill the entire cup up, and then ends up with the unfortunate demise of the plant. This would be quite a short life cycle. But basically, it would just try and get as much as possible. It might even leach nutrients directly from the tree, and then, you know, before the unfortunate end happens, perhaps it'll go. Yeah. So before that happens, it might produce a big old wind-catching flower or something. Or just a relatively small one. However much energy you can get. And that gets dispersed, and it starts over again. So you basically have like a single life cycle or something. Yeah, it would be quite an aggressive approach, to be honest. Bring out much. Let me just figure out where to put this out. Didn't do what I wanted it to do there. Maybe I should just do this. And make this real skinny. I'm still figuring out how to do all this, but I would like There we go. So now if anyone shows up, I will be able to talk to them. Cool. Huh. Alright then. Getting back into it. Oh, damn. I just undid the thing that I had just done. That is better. Cool. Alright then. Let's continue. Where was I? Ah, yes. So yeah, we've here we've got a life cycle for a type of plant. So yeah, basically, yeah. So starts life off as a little air-carried seedling. We'll figure out the shape later. Then it's lands in any type of cup plant or water catching plant or tree or such, or any type of water really. Cool. There then it's actually the plant is implied, so we don't have to add the plant each time because that's just going to get in the way. So then it germinates and it starts making lots and lots of roots. Roots for base. Alright. And then as it makes more and more roots, does this program have selection? No, it doesn't seem like it. I'm using this program, Mischief, by the way, just so that I can move around and kind of like zoom out. And it's basically just an infinite notepad. So it allows you to just draw freely and not worry about, you know, how much space I'm using up, etc., etc. Anyway, right. After that, yes, after that, the next step, I can probably start going horizontally. Basically, the center of it starts to basically become big, large, and grow some more roots. So I'm just making these like on the spot like this. So this is basically what I'll be doing is Worldbuilding Livestream. I'll largely just be making up things as we go along to add to the story. So yes, you've basically got this weird, rooty, jellyfishy weird thing that's now getting a really big energy storage spot, basically. Then, after that, basically, I imagine that the roots just kind of die off, because there's not much of a point to them anymore. The plant doesn't need to live, because it's already basically killed its host by this point. It might have already sucked up all of the water that is present there. Yeah, it might even be just like basically like right in like the inside of the plant. I'm not necessarily the best at from perspective, but I hope that brings across the idea. Yeah. And then, basically it's like pulling energy away from the roots and back into itself, so that it can basically like shoot a big thing of big old cotton candy thingy, which basically contains one of these things, and so those will be blown away by the wind. To continue the cycle, the somewhat destructive cycle. Yeah, so I now, if this could continue on unabated, basically you would end up with kind of a desert. You would not have any of, like, basically any type of water catching plants will just kind of go extinct in a dry, well, maybe not dry. You get the idea. It just all goes extinct. So naturally, with such an aggressive plant coming around, water catching trees will have some type of defense mechanism. One possible thing is basically that they really, like, they've got this basin. Let's say that is the basin, you know, the actual tree is around there. There's like, you know, water in there. I mean, the water is going to be multicolored, but I cannot be bothered doing multicolors all the time. Alright, so a wee little journey that's going to ruin the entire plant because it's going to basically fog up the water so that less light than is necessary for the tree comes up. Yeah, so that would basically be a death sentence, normally. So, it needs defense mechanisms. What kind of defense mechanisms could we do? Well, one option is poison. You just make the water undrinkable for the plants. So basically it would mean that the tree basically invests some, you know, energy and whatnot. That looks like an apple, not so much a money bag. Anyway, the tree will invest some money in some energy, rather, into producing the poison, which then increases its chance of survival. This may also lead to the death of, like, other plants that come in. So it's a pretty general survival mechanism, and I imagine that it would probably be a relatively common way of doing it. Now, there's no need for this poison to be, like, all-encompassing. For example, it might lead to you know, plants. Yeah, it might lead to the death of plants. But say I don't know. Yeah, animals might be okay. That does not look like a thumbs up. Now it looks like a weird fish. Never mind. Anyway, animals might be fine living in it, drinking in it, or such. In fact, I would not be surprised if some water-catching plants or trees even encourage animals to come in, because what do animals do? Also, I'm not saying that, you know, dogs or whatever this is live in this world, but, you know, symbolic representations. Anyway, I was trying to do a thing. They poop. And guess what poop is good for? Poop is good for plants. Because, well, not always, sometimes it can lead to too much nitrogen. But anyway, like, basically, this is all yummy nutrients for the plant. So basically, by encouraging animals to get it, to basically, you know, like, make use of the water, it might fertilize the plants. So you've got a kind of a beneficial cycle going on here. So here you've got a murderous death cycle, and here you've also got a bit of a, you know, antagonistic relationship going on, because yeah, this one keeps trying to kill this one, and this one is basically trying to drink all of this one's water and steal all its light. Plants always compete with each other for light. It's kind of their thing. But anyway, yeah, with animals like these plants, these water-catching trees can probably have a nice, beneficial, mutual relation. Shit. Yeah. I'm not going to start making animals, by the way, anytime soon, because plants are a lot simpler than animals for me to think about. And I'm a sucker for details sometimes. And yeah, I kind of want to know what the animal would look like and such, and I'm not an artist, or as you may have noticed, I'm not the most artistically gifted person. Maybe one day. Maybe I will learn as we go along. Okay. So yeah, let's return back to this thing. Basically, the relationship between these two. So basically, the water-catching plants would try and poison these parasitic plants, and these parasitic plants would basically try and not get poisoned. So this would probably lead to some of these plants adapting to be very resilient to specific poisons, but then different plants, because it's basically impossible to be resistant to all poisons, these plants might diverge into several species of similar parasitic plants, which specialize in different species of water-catching plants. Yeah, that works. That works. Yeah. So basically, these kinds of plants would end up specializing for specific water-catching plants, which then means that a single one can't just lead to the extinction of all water-catching plants. And yeah, it basically means that you've got some degree of dependency on each other. Well, not on each other, but this guy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that works. Now, right, reproduction needs an extra step for plants basically is. So there's a few options here, and I think we're kind of talking about a group of species. So this is the general mechanism of yeah, let's go. Let's just go with yeah. So this is the general schematic of a parasitic group of plants, which is a family of plants. Cool. Right. So they might have a number of I can probably make there's probably a number of dispersal methods that could go for. Yeah, so okay, so basically dispersal. Okay. So we've already got wind dispersal. There's a wide variety of ways of doing this. Like a little helicopter thingy, and of course it can look in all sorts of ways. I'm sure you're already familiar with. I probably know the name of the tree, but I'm not going to guess because I'm going to make a fool out of myself. But yeah, like the tree that has kind of like these helicopter leaf thingies. Then you've of course got like a pretty famous one is something like the dandelion. Yeah. Which has just a bunch of fluff at the top. It just needs to catch the wind. Now, one of the issues. No, actually. So one of the issues I was thinking of was that because it's basically like raining all the bloody time in this place, that wind-scattered things would just get pummeled by the rain and would fall. But this stage, the stage where the water catching tree dries, like the pool dries up, probably coincides with a dry period. So when a dry period hits, which will generally last for not much more than like a few weeks in this in A7. Yeah. So when a dry period hits, that's when this gets triggered. And so wind dispersal actually makes sense because you don't have the rain during dry period, obviously. Cool. Yeah, so that works. And then they just land anywhere, and then if they land in a wet place during the dry period, that means they have probably found a water catching tree or water catching plant. Now, wind dispersal isn't very aimed, so just a moment. Like these plants I need to drink. Right. So, yeah. The issue with wind dispersal is that it's going to land in literally anywhere. Like some of it might land in puddles. A lot of it may land just anywhere, which is why you need like a really big, you know, like seed dispersal and release lots of them. Yeah, might even just release like pollen. Yeah, it might even just release as pollen rather than bigger floaty things. But that's all. Bigger start is bigger gain. But it depends. It's probably not that much energy floating around. Now there probably wouldn't be that much. Because the water catching trees probably have to absorb this soon. So yeah, you probably go for the slightly bigger things. There might be some like spore ones or that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, possibly. They might have a more complex life. I'll have to take a look at that later. I'm currently losing track of my thoughts. So yes, basically they're gonna just spread out everywhere and just get completely lost. And with some luck, a few of these will land in the correct pool. Because if they land in the wrong pool, the poisons or whatever toxic material the tree releases will kill them. But if they go to the right tree or plant, the one that they've adapted to, then they will sprout. So yeah, but a lot of these won't make it. A more sophisticated way is by using animals or living creatures. So it could be like a bug. It'd probably be a bug with wings, to be honest. Because actually, not necessarily. So water catching plants come in all sorts of scales. So for example, you might have a kind of like a tuber, you know, which is what do we use here? I'll try and draw a person. There we go, this is kind of what passes. For a person these days, I suppose. There we go. A lanky person. So, you know, you might have like a plant that's about like that big. You might even have like just a plant that has leaves of teeny tiny little cups. And you know, you might have this type of thing going on. And then you've also got, you know, like full on. Why do I keep doing this? Giant trees, you know. So yeah, they basically come in all sorts of sizes. Now these smaller ones, I would not be surprised if even just like tracking animals could be used for dispersal. For example, you know, someone comes by and you have yourself a little flower thing. I don't know. And yeah. I don't know. This actually comes down to the other thing which I want to discuss, which is the other way in which animals can be used to disperse, which is like just having spiky things. So spiky things tend to catch to bigger animals. So say this thing has like a spiky thing. Then person walks by and these spiky things stick to their leg. And then if they walk past another plant, the spiky thing might fall. Probably not the best way of doing it. But if you've got an animal that is like drinking from one of these things for whatever reason, or even like drinking from it, it might get stuck on its face, which actually is not the most pleasant of experiences. And then when it tries to drink from another similar plant, they might deposit it. But this is quite a wet place, so I'm not sure how effective that would be. I'll have to look into that a bit more. So there's ways of doing this, but ideally you want to have something that interacts with these kinds of plants, with the specific species that you want to deal with. So yeah, then you get like a whole web of interdependencies, because the animals that you want to have spread the seed thingies, you kind of want to have like the same plants as you parasitize. Yeah, it's certainly possible, and it probably does exist, but it's probably not the most common way to disperse. I imagine that wind is probably the more liked, more prevalent one. Because that doesn't require a very specific relationship. But for reproduction, you again have these same kind of things. For wind, for example, that's where pollen actually come in. Basically, you just spread it out to the wind, and hope that it hits the receiving end of your species, so to say. And that's how some plants reproduce. Timing things very precisely, of course. Otherwise, because life just wants to maximize their chances. But the for reproduction, for that, animals actually become a lot more viable, a lot more ideal. Because you can actually lure animals in. Because, well, that's what, lovely flowers do. They, for example, have a lovely aroma, which will attract, wee little bees and stuff. Let's give my little eye, because it's just making a happy little bee. And I'll make another leaf. Alternatively, you also have other famous examples. Which may actually, well, to us they certainly smell a lot less pleasant. They kind of smell like death. But to flies, yummy! So yeah, there's all sorts of ways that the parasitic core plants can lure in, can potentially lure in species. Yeah. So I think we've got a pretty solid foundation here for a number of species to come from this. Basically, we primarily have, basically for most species of water-catching plants, you might have a parasitic core plants. Actually, another defense that I just came up with is to have less of a open container and more of like a sponge kind of situation going on. This will make it a lot harder for such a plant to grow into it, but it might just, directly try and dig into it. Although, in this setting that will be a lot more difficult. Because plants, like most creatures, actually have a something called a... Actually, what did that have effect? No, I don't think that the magical stuff has an effect. It just prevents the plant from doing certain shenanigans. Yeah. Anyway, I think that for today, that will do. So yeah, basically we created a little nasty little plant, which basically, finds its way into, we got a little plant which finds its way into a variety of water-catching plants, be they trees, weird sticks, with I don't know, the pool might be all the way down to the bottom. That's a terrible one. Yeah. Cool. Okay, yeah, my mental energy has been pretty spent. on all of this, because it turns out that this is exhausting. So, I shall bid you all farewell. I hope you enjoy this this VOD. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your